What's going on, pursuers? Welcome to The Pursuit of Calling, the podcast that provides you with the strategies and tools needed to successfully discover and pursue your calling. Whether it's through inspiring stories, thought-provoking interviews, or quick, insightful episodes on personal growth and development, we've got you covered. I'm your host, Thomas Carney. Enjoy the episode. How's it going, pursuers? So, I quit my job. You might already know that if you've been listening to this podcast for a second, because it's kind of been the theme of the last few weeks, but I quit my job as a full-time mobile app developer and, websites too, in order to pursue what I believe God is calling me to do in being a full-time entrepreneur, specifically a coaching business, life coaching business. However, there's one big thing that's been on my mind recently. And I think this is something that a lot of people deal with. And you might already guess it from the title of the episode, I have a problem with procrastination. And it's not necessarily that I'm doing things that are bad, right? It's not that necessarily that I'm doing things that are lazy. It's that I'm not prioritizing my needs over my wants. I'm doing things that are could be considered necessarily productive. I'm getting things done, but they're not necessarily the quote unquote right things that need done. If you're building something meaningful, especially while managing chronic health or a high responsibility in your life, you're going to feel this tension. You're doing things you want over the things that need to get done. You don't always prioritize all that well, right? I like to do what's comfortable, right? Most of us do. The wants aren't bad things, but they aren't always the best thing you could be doing, that you could be working on right now. Does that sound familiar? This came up for me in my therapy session yesterday morning. An avid habit most people have is prioritizing wants over needs. And our society, our economy thrives on this. Why wash the dishes when I could watch a video on YouTube or Netflix? Why work out when I could watch TV and have a snack? Why pursue my calling when I could stay comfortable with where I'm at? My therapist gave me some homework. She said, observe without judgment when you have moments of want versus need. Looking for a distinct reason for the procrastination. We're going to get a little bit more into that as we go through the episode, but I want you to hold on to that mind. Hold on to that. We're going to look for a distinct reason for our procrastination. I want to focus on that simple thing, though, that simple topic of procrastination this episode and how to stop it. Procrastination is not laziness. Like I said earlier, even for me, I like to get things done. You like to get things done. You're a productive person. You're not lazy. But it's a signal. It shows our wants, fears, or discomfort are misaligned with our needs. There's a ton of research on this topic, a ton. People want to know why they procrastinate. You've most likely heard the term delayed gratification or immediate reward. Or naturally, our brains are trained to go for what is most readily available and attainable. So procrastination comes in when the brain wants short-term emotional relief more than the long-term goal achievement, more than the reward that the goal would achieve, more than the reward that the long-term goal would give you. Not because you lack willpower or discipline, tasks that seem unpleasant, boring, or overwhelming are most likely to be avoided. Then the void is filled with something easier that brings us comfort. Is that making sense? You might want listen to that part again. That you don't lack willpower. You don't lack discipline. The tasks that seem unpleasant, boring, or overwhelming are most likely to be avoided. Then the void is filled with something easier to bring us comfort. A key idea in the research is temporal discounting. That's a term you might not have heard before. I didn't hear it before I started doing research on the topic for this episode. Our brains value immediate comfort. This is talking about temporal discounting. Our brains value immediate comfort more than the delayed benefits. So this is what we were talking about before. Even when the latter are more meaningful. So really what procrastination is doing is not necessarily pushing things off. It's seeing how quickly we can get a reward. Does that make sense? I think that's the mindset shift around procrastination. It's not laziness. It's not pushing something off. It's getting a reward faster. It's seeing how quick can I get a reward. So what does the science say? There's a couple other terms that, again, I didn't hear before. Maybe you did. One called task aversion. The more unpleasant or unappealing a task feels, even if it's important, the more likely we are to avoid it. There's another term called emotion regulation. We practice to manage our feelings, to escape discomfort, anxiety, or the fear tied to a task. Okay, so we're trying to escape discomfort, anxiety, or the fear that is tied to the task. So what is this fear typically that's tied to the task? I want to kind of hone in on this fear, this anxiety. I think it's a lot of the time what I find whenever I'm coaching, my clients typically get stressed out because they believe that the goal is too big to achieve, or they don't know what the next step is, and that stresses them out. You ever been there where you're like, I have this big thing. I have this thing that I think kind of feels like a pipe dream, and maybe one day I'll do it. Maybe I'll get it done one day. But the thing is, unless you sit down and actually figure out how to break that goal down, and again, we're going to get into this a little bit more, break that goal down into bite-sized pieces so the task isn't as big. There's not fear around the task. You're going to keep procrastinating it and keep pushing it off. So how do we overcome it? Now, my therapist gave me another question to ask myself in the moment of making a decision. To do one thing over another. So whenever I'm making a decision to maybe read my book that I love reading, I read it for fun, over recording a podcast episode, for instance. The question is this really what I should be doing right now? Is this really what I should be doing right now? It doesn't mean that it's not what you should be doing. It doesn't mean that it's a bad thing, but it's a genuine question. Is this what I really should be doing right now? This is asking whether the emotional reward circuitry is driving the moment's choice. So noticing that pattern is exactly what psychologists recommend for breaking this procrastination cycle. It's noticing, like, why do I want to sit down and read my book right now? For me, this is read. I love to read. Maybe you're not a reader. Maybe you're an audiobooker. I'm both. I do both at the same time. That's just me. But I think it adds a dimension to the story. Give me a break. The emotional reward circuitry is like, do I want to sit down and read my book right now? Or I want to eat this chocolate cookie right now? Or do I want to watch my TV show right now because I just want to stay comfortable? Am I afraid of the thing that I should be doing? Is it uncomfortable to do the thing that I know I need to be doing? And sometimes that just has to happen. And I think whenever we ask ourselves these questions, that is how you break the cycle. That's how you stop, quote unquote, pushing things off. You stop living on default. I love that term. I love the phrase "stop living on default," and I don't think anybody else says that. So I kind of want, maybe I'll make a shirt for that because I don't know. I feel like it's my life. I want to stop living. That's why I'm leaving my job, because I want to stop living on default. Anyway, let's keep going. So let's get into some practical steps and how to overcome procrastination. I forgot the word for a second. So it's not about trying harder. It's about reducing emotional resistance. So make the need smaller. I mentioned that before. That if the task feels overwhelming, let's shrink it. The task isn't build the business. If you're like me, you're building your own business. It's, hey, open the laptop. Open the laptop. Network with 5 people. What are the steps you can do in order to make the business a success? Not just build a business and make it this ambiguous big goal. Shrink it. Chop it up and chop up. I just, because this is an analogy I just meal prep today. Chop up the pepper. Instead of just throwing the whole pepper into the pot, chop up the pepper into bite-sized pieces. So that each step, each new piece of the puzzle can be taken one step at a time. The goal isn't write the book. It's write one paragraph. It's not get healthy. It's go to the gym one time. Walk in the door. Small actions lowers emotional friction. Clarity. Okay, now let's clarify the next step. Procrastination thrives in vagueness. Instead of work on the podcast, like this is something on my brain. Instead of work on the podcast, maybe outline 3 teaching points. Record an intro. For me, clarity reduces avoidance. So the third thing in this is attach a meaning to the need. And I think a lot of the times we have a need, like one thing I really didn't want to do this week was sign up for health insurance. It's really boring. And they asked me all these crazy questions. They said, what sex were you assigned at birth? And I was like, silly question. I think I'm pretty sure I'm a dude. I'm positive, but silly questions like that. And I'm like, but then I'm like, if I assign the meaning to it, I'm like, what future does this help build? Well, it helps make sure that I'm going to be able to go to the doctor so I can still get my medications and there's a positive outcome. Positive reward to this super boring task. Or who does this serve? Why am I doing this right now? Who does it serve for me to write this book? Who does it serve for me to make this video? Who does it serve for me to make sure I'm healthy? Who else does it serve besides myself that for me to go to the gym? Maybe you're a dad and you want to be healthy for your family. It's not just for you. It's for the people that you serve, and that's your family. When meaning increases, motivation strengthens. And finally, we're going to allow strategic wants. Instead of eliminating comfort, we're going to earn it. We're going to schedule it, or we're going to use it as recovery. So earn it. It's like, okay, after working for 2 hours, I'm going to get 1 cookie. Or, and that's my reward. Or after reaching this milestone for the day, after doing a session of deep work for the day, I'm going to read my book for an hour. That's a reward for me. Because, oh my gosh, Brandon Sanderson is an artist. Look his books up. Anyway, I mentioned, I'm going to skip a couple things because it's going a little bit longer than I meant it to. The goal isn't 0 wants. It's just having your wants be in the right place. It's being strategic with them. Okay, I have so many notes here and I need to skip some because this episode's getting long. I'm going to skip let's skip to the faith and calling connection. How did this talk on procrastination align with faith, our faith as Christians, and the calling that is on your life? Here's a question that you can ask yourself. Am I choosing comfort over calling? Or am I stewarding, or maybe a question, am I stewarding what God has entrusted to me? This work we're doing, pursuing our callings, it's not just for us. I keep saying that. Be faithful with what God is entrusting to you. He's entrusting to you to live a life that I'm kidding. Okay. He's entrusting to you to live your life in a particular way. Are you going to live your life in comfort? Or are you going to live your life in your calling? Okay. Let's get into scripture. Colossians 3:23. I love this verse. Whatever you do, work heartedly. Work with all you have, as for the Lord and not for men, not for human masters. I'm going to say it again. Whatever you do, work heartily, as for the Lord and not for men. Work for the Lord and not for, you're not working for men. You're working to serve the Lord. You serve the Lord by serving others. If I'm building my business, recording a podcast, writing content, it's not just for me. This is worship, guys. I'm sorry if you're not I am sorry if you're not a Christian, because Jesus is great, but man, pursuing your calling is worship. Man, there's so many tangents I could go on right now, but I'm going to keep moving. Suddenly that need becomes sacred. Okay, there's one more verse I want to read, and then we're going to wrap it up. Psalm 127, verses 1-2. I found this, and it's amazing. Unless the Lord builds the house, the builder labors in vain. Unless the Lord watches over the city, the guard stands watch in vain. In vain you rise early and stay up late, toiling for food to eat. For the Lord, he grants sleep to those he loves. Spurgeon said about these two verses, he said, note, the psalmist does not bid the builder cease from laboring, nor suggest that watchmen should neglect their duty, nor that man should show their trust in God by doing nothing. Nay, Spurgeon is great. Nay, he supposes that they would do all that they can do. And then he forbids their fixing their trust in what they have done, and assures them that in all creature effort will be in vain unless the Creator puts forth his power. God's not calling you to be lazy. He's calling you to take action, give it all that you have. But man, only if it's what he's calling you to do. Only for what he's saying, this is for you. Man, so whenever we're procrastinating from our calling, we're kind of telling God the calling that he's given us isn't enough. And I'm like, bro, that's way. I'm getting a little uncomfortable. We don't need to rely on our abilities alone. God is a provider and sustainer. He wants us to rest and rely on him. He doesn't want us to reach the edge of burnout. He loves us. However, if his hand isn't over our pursuits, then they're in vain. So I want to challenge you to pray on your efforts. Are your goals aligned with the calling he has placed on your life? Man, I prepared a lot more for this. Okay, I probably shouldn't say this, but I prepared a lot more for this episode than I have for a lot of other episodes in the past. And man, it was so much fun, and it's 20 minutes. And I don't know if people are going to listen to the whole thing. But man, thank you if you did. I really appreciate it. I want to give you one more challenge. If you were to ask yourself, is what I'm doing right now about to do? Wow, that was terrible English. Is what I'm about to do really what I should be doing? If you were to ask yourself that, what do you think would happen? Think about that. Start asking yourself that question. I'm going to be doing it too. I'm going to be doing it right alongside you because I just had this therapy session yesterday and it just sparked this whole thought process in me. So guys, thank you for sitting with me and listening to this episode of the Pursuit of Calling podcast on procrastination. I didn't think I was going to have so much fun talking about procrastination. It's crazy. If you like this episode, please share it out on social media. It's so helpful when you do that. And if you see a reel about this episode, repost it. Do that repost thing that Instagram now does. And like it, share it. And guys, don't forget to give a 5-star review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and apparently now you can leave comments on Apple Podcasts from what I understand. So if you want to go leave a comment on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, wherever you're listening to your podcast, that would be amazing. Guys, thank you again for listening to this episode. Keep pursuing your calling. Do it well. I'll see you later, pursuers. Peace.